Howdy friends, you're watching Brass Bear Range. I'm Darryl, and welcome back to the reloading room. Unfortunately, we had some wind noise in this presentation before, so I have to reshoot it. So today's presentation is going to be on basic range rules and etiquette. And before we get started, let me show you an example of our range's rule sign. Alright folks, and here we have an example of a range rule sign. These are the rules for our range, and they may not necessarily be the rules for your range, so make sure you're observing your range's rules, not ours. Here's some examples of rules here at our local range is the Tie-Dot Sportsmen's Association in Haneyville. Membership is required to be firing on the range. Now some of the family membership rules have changed here, but to be shooting on this range, you require a membership, and some ranges, both indoor and outdoor, will require this. We have some examples of gun safety rules: guns pointed in a safe direction, finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot, and keep gun unloaded until ready to use it. In most jurisdictions, anyway, you should be showing up with unloaded weapons. Here in our state in particular, you cannot carry a loaded rifle or shotgun in a car. Only a handgun, and only if you have a concealed carry permit. So you should be showing up with an unloaded weapon anyway. Some other examples of rules would be, talking about don't handle your firearms while someone's downrange. Don't shoot in a pistol range while someone's downrange on the rifle range. Exploding targets are prohibited. We actually used to allow those here, but people were blowing the backstops up. And then, I don't know if you can read rule number 9. It's actually your warnings, and they have them posted as a rule. You'll be verbally told that you're misbehaving and better straighten yourself up there, kid. You'll be asked to leave, and if you have a membership and you're a continued violator, you may get it revoked, which it's not much here. 25 a year per adult, 18 or older. But it's important to remember that if you don't follow the rules, they're not going to let you around. And there, folks, was some basic examples of range rules and the sign at our local range. It's important to note that you follow your local range's rules, not ours, when you are at your range. Your range's rules could be vastly different from ours, and we would hate to see you get thrown out because you're observing our rules and not yours. Now, getting away from some of the more basic rules, such as finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire, let's move into some more range-specific things. In particular, how to transport your firearm. In some areas, it is illegal to transport a loaded rifle or shotgun in a car. Our state, that's the law. You can transport a loaded handgun, but only if you have a concealed carry permit. So it's important that when you're showing up to your ranges, you make sure your firearm is unloaded. Unless, of course, you're concealed carrying your handgun that you're going to be shooting and obviously have it loaded. But if that's the case, it should be on a proper holster, such as my carry holster for my .44 Magnum, and it should be tied down to you correctly. Some ranges, this one applies mostly to indoor ranges, will require you to bring your firearm in a hard case or soft bag. Good example is my Smith & Wesson Magnum range bag that I have here. My local range allows you to bring firearms in uncased. I normally only do this with my rifles because I don't have an extensive line of bags for them all, so I just throw them in the truck. But for my handguns, I can fit several smaller handguns in this bag. It's designed for a large caliber Magnum handgun. I will throw my handguns in this bag and then transport them in. Obviously, if I'm concealed carrying and have it locked down in a holster, I don't bother taking it off and putting it in the bag. But if your range has a rule where you can't walk in with your concealed carry, it needs to be in a bag, please make sure that you take it off you, stick it in your bag before entering. Some other very important rules include making sure you're using the correct ammunition. Some indoor ranges, due to the material their backstop is made out of, how their venting system works, there's specific ammunitions that you need to use. Most places, for example, won't allow like a steel core ammo because it has a tendency to spark. As you're discharging firearms, some unspent powder can exit the barrel, and as that accumulates in an indoor range, it could start a fire. If you get a ricochet and a spark or something in the concrete. So, important to follow ammunition rules as well. If you have any questions on rules like this, I mean, there's a lot to know before you go out to your local range. Your local range could be your most favorite place on earth after you start going. I know mine is. I absolutely love my range. I'll go out there and have breakfast, I have lunch, I'll just sit out there all day, even if I'm not the one shooting, if I'm just going for an event. I'll stay out there all day, because to me, it's just, I am as at peace at my range as like Bob Ross is when he's behind the canvas. But to be able to do that, and to get that comfortable at your range and have those opportunities, you have to follow the rules and be safe. But you don't just have the rules to follow. The other portion of this presentation goes into the etiquette of being at the range, which is just as important. When we talk about range etiquette, what we mean is being courteous to the other shooters that are around you and following some of the more unspoken rules. So when you go to your local range, odds are if you frequent it frequently, you're going to run into other people. It's just a fact of life. You really should try and get to know these people, especially if they're the range officers, because they can offer you some more tips on how to be safe, and maybe they can even help you with your firearms, getting them sighted in things. It's very good to be polite at the range. Good case in point, I love Magnum caliber handguns. I was very polite to a gentleman the other day. He let me shoot his original Smith & Wesson Model 29 Dirty Harry gun. I carry the 629. He had the original 29. It was great. But going past, being polite to other people in the range and engaging them in conversation. If you're in an outdoor range where people will, pull up to the range and not have their equipment on, cease fire and wait for them to get on their personal protective equipment so that they're safe. Wait for them to tell you they're ready before you begin firing again. If somebody wants to switch out a target downrange, cease fire and let them go change their target. They're there just as much as you are, and their time may be just as limited as yours. Just take the extra couple of minutes, let them change their target, and the experience will be better for everybody. It's very important to show proper etiquette. It goes hand in hand with safety. It really, really does. Another good example is if range has an alarm and the guy beside you is trying to change out his target but someone's shooting on the other range, just because those shots aren't near him, don't let him walk out in the range to change his target. Hit the alarm. Make everyone else stop. If you see unsafe things at the range or people not showing correct etiquette, let them know. The only way we can correct incorrect behavior at the range is by educating people. And that's what our channel here is all about. It's trying to educate people, but also give you the means to help educate those around you. The more education, the safer we can be. And with that, folks, I hope you enjoyed our presentation on basic range rules and etiquette. If you do have any questions regarding rules or etiquette, or you have just some general questions about shooting ranges, please feel free to let us know in the comments. Feel free just to stop by and say howdy. We'd love to just chat. For now, folks, we hope you have a great day. Remember, be safe and have fun.